Hi, I'm Carly.
And I'm Delaney. And we're the Guidesley girls.
Oh, we
There's
tried.
no way it matched up.
One day we'll get it in sync.
That's okay. Zoom's a beast. And we are here with the great and wonderful Keaton Reager. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
We just talked off screen. I always have trouble with his last name, so I started pronouncing it like oregano to help me remember.
It works.
Anyways, this is Keaton. He is one of our guide success reps here at Guidesley, otherwise known around the office as the light of our lives, the positive force that drives all the things in the office. He's in with us about 3 days a week, and those other 2 days you notice when he's not there. So we love Keaton. He is all things guide success, lives, breathes Guidesley, and is our hunting specialist as well, which we're going to dive a little bit deeper into today. So excited for that.
Welcome, Keaton. We're excited you're here.
I'm excited to be on. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, we're going to start with something really, really fun. This is going to be something that I think we're going to weave into all of our episodes, or most of them, we'll say. So we're going to play a rapid fire game of what we call in or out. So I'm going to list something, Keaton, hunting related, and I want you to say in or out. Got it?
We'll give it a go. I'm good.
Pretty simple. Okay. Hunting at sunrise, in or out?
In.
Eating before a trip?
Eating before a trip, is that correct?
Eating before a trip.
Oh, definitely in.
Wait, eating a large meal before a trip or eating a small meal before a trip?
You're asking me. It just said just eating before. Do you like to eat before you go hunting or not? Like, what's the preference here? And this is supposed to be rapid fire, people.
Oops.
My apologies. Definitely in. Sometimes though, I don't eat a lot before opening day just because of nerves and anticipation, but I try to force feed myself. So
there you go. Okay. Do you prefer calling deer or waiting it out?
Well, for deer specifically, I prefer to wait it out and then sometimes call. Deer a little bit interesting. You have to listen for them, that type of thing. With elk, depending on the season, you can actively call them, especially this time of year when the hunters are in the woods. Elk are more responsive because it's the rut and they're out there looking for a nice date. And I'll put it like that. So,
love it.
Do you know what?
Okay, in or out?
We picked the perfect guy to play in or out with because Keaton's the king of the greatest stories of all time.
I know. I can't wait till we dive into the first question.
All right, ready to go?
Okay, last few, I promise, and let's run through them. Rapid fire, in or out, packing snacks on a hunt.
Oh, you gotta have snacks. I love snacks.
So he's in. Hunting in the rain, in or out?
Oh, in.
Trophy photos, in or out?
In.
Quitters, in or out?
Quitters?
Yeah. People that quit in the middle of a hunt.
You can't quit in the middle of a hunt. Then you just go home with nothing. Out.
Okay. So that was our first version of in or out with our lengthy explanations, but we appreciate it.
Like all the fluff and color. It's my favorite. It's why I love Keaton so much.
Me too. So let's get into it. Let's start with something good, Keaton. Can you tell us what the wildest thing about being a hunting guide is that most people don't know?
I would say most people don't realize, whether it's hunting or, as I've come to learn through working at Guidesley, the amount of work too that goes behind a fishing charter as well. With my personal experience, a lot of people don't realize what actually goes into a hunting camp. For me, there's pack season, so you're spending all of August out there, long, hot days on the trail with the horses and mules, taking hay in, taking feed in, getting the camp set up, clearing trails so that you can even get to camp, and then clearing your own hunting trails to your spots so you can get your clients in without having to exert them too much. And that amount of work in itself, it's so much that you never ever get as much done as you want, because it's just like an impossible task. It keeps building up every year and you got to start from fresh, because there's a whole season there of seasons, or half a year pretty much, where you are not on the trail through winter and trees come down and nature does its thing and you got to go back and fix them when you can get them in there.
So we should also probably ask, tell us where you guided most, like where in the US were you guiding the most?
So I started out in Colorado, went from Grand Mesa to Estes Park, and then over to my last part over into Riggins, Idaho, which is over by the Seven Devils. And that I think is just an awesome place. Idaho has its unique challenges versus Colorado. They say if you flatten the state of Idaho, it's bigger than Texas, just because the amount of mountains.
What?
A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realize this, but there's a lot more there than growing potatoes. So
That's amazing. Well, and you said a little fun fact yesterday. I asked you where your favorite, if you were to take me to hunt anywhere, where you would take me, and you said anywhere. What did you say? Anywhere in a 20-mile radius?
Anywhere 20 miles in. So
anywhere 20 miles in. And then you started to talk about Idaho and its vast forest. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So the difference too, like between some of the places I got for Idaho, like where I got it in Idaho, there's a lot of history there. The Nez Perce Indian War started there. That some of the areas have never been logged. You ride past trees and you wonder what stories they could tell. And some of them are probably older than the founding of this country, which is real interesting to see the tree that's lived that long. I've always been fascinated by trees. It might be weird to some people, but it's just,
love it.
You see a big one and you're like, man, if that thing could talk, what would it say? So
do you think some of the trees in that forest, since it's so vast and untouched, some of them are bored? Do you think some of them just straight up have no stories to tell whatsoever? They're like, I mean, I saw an ant crawl by once.
It could be the case, but odds are somebody's been and leaned against that tree at some point. Maybe not in every spot, but they've probably seen some things, from whether animals to Idaho's got the wolves to whatever, floods, blizzards. I do think trees tend to talk. My favorite time of the year to hunt in Colorado, I like walking through aspen groves. One that's a really good spot in those transitional forests to hunt elk. In my personal opinion, between dark timber and that lighter aspen forest that allows you to have a lot more grasses and stuff that the cows in there will feed on. And I like it when so basically an aspen forest is like a bamboo forest. It's essentially one tree, but they grow close to each other. And sometimes when the wind gets just right, and those who've experienced this will know exactly what I'm talking about. They kind of have their own little harmonic, like sympathy. I can't even pronounce that word, but they have like a musical orchestra about it. And it's just kind of like a music to your ears, and it's something really peaceful to listen to. So
random side topic question, but aspens are obviously predominantly in Aspen, Colorado, but moving to Buffalo, which is where we are right now for all the viewers, moving to Buffalo, I'll go and hike up at Devil's Hole and I'll see a ton of aspen trees. What's up with that? How did they get over here?
That is a good question. I've been trying to cultivate some here myself and haven't been successful. But I think that like this whole northeastern region is kind of like, if you look at the maps, like I guess elevation wise, from what I've been told, they're super uncommon, but I have seen them as well in areas. And I really can't explain why they're here, but they're here. But I also
That's my favorite explanation ever. I've just been curious. Every time I go by, I'm like, I swear, I know that trunk, I know those leaves.
We'll take it.
But traditionally too, also, I think a lot of people too, and I know I've seen aspen, so I know I haven't misidentified, but there used to be, before this area was developed, Buffalo, from what I've been told, it was just a lot of birch trees, right? So birch and aspens are similar. And it was just this continuous birch forest that, as we've developed as a country and populated the land here, there's less and less of that. So
I think what I want to know about, like, you talk about all that goes into hunting. Do you have, like, you have to take everything with you? You're like, essentially, when you talk about camp, and like, I always hear you talk about like the cooks at camp and everything like that. Like, what's the size of your bag that you're carrying? Like, in equipment, right? Like, what is all of that?
So
on your bag?
It depends on what kind of hunt you're going on, each outfitter or hunt that the average guy is going on, they'll have a list, right? And
Yeah.
particular in my case, like when I was guiding, we had a weight limit. So, and that one is two, so we know that bags are evenly packed for the horses and mules, and we're not overstuffing them. We're basically with a pack saddle, it's a fine balance of balancing weight. So if one side's off and it's way off, it causes the saddle to roll, and you don't want that to happen on the trail because bad things can happen when that happens. And not only that, you're in front of clients, they want to get to camp, and now you just delayed yourself fixing it. So you want to make sure everything rides good, even in weight. And we have some guide tricks that'll balance that out too if things are slightly off. But mainly each hunt you go on, you're going to want to prep for gear. If you're going in the mountains, I wouldn't recommend wearing muck boots. I'd buy some mountain boots or hiking boots, probably insulated too if it's in the laser season. Now, if you're going up in your deer stand, muck boots will just do just fine, and you'll be all right. But each hunt's going to call for a different set of tools with a lot of similar tools.
You probably need to bring a smaller belt as well, right?
Yeah, probably. Sometimes, I mean, I've lost 30 pounds out there, and I was out there for 3 months. So
crazy. Yeah, because how many
Wait,
miles do
you
you
were
guys
on a-
walk in a day? Sorry, Kylie.
Hang on, back it up. You were on a 3-month hunt?
well, that was when I was guiding. So I had to go through the pack season, clearing trails every day and in and out. And then the 3 weeks of guiding that I did in the fall there. And also I was logistically supporting the few hunts that we had for archery. So it's just a lot of miles on the trail. And every morning I would walk 4 miles downhill with the horses because we just don't ride them downhill in that country. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll wake you up real fast, especially if you don't step on a rattlesnake.
How many miles are you guys doing on average a day? Like, what does a long day look like, and what's a short day look like?
So a long day would be like getting the trailhead 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning type deal, and then leaving in the dark. And during that early pack season, you try to leave earlier because it gets super hot and try to be out by like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or earlier if you can. The guys that are really experienced have it down to a science, and they're on their way out. And the newer guys tend to take a lot longer. And especially it's getting hot. It's getting 90s, some parts 100. You just want to beat the heat. So the earlier you leave, the more cool it is. But on average, like when we were in camp, we would ride to the camp that I was in. It was like probably could be a 5 to 6 hour-ish, maybe longer ride, if I recall right. And from there in the mornings, we would ride on average in the dark, 2 hours in the dark, out of camp, sometimes quicker. But, and then we would just, get on top of ridges and walk and glass or look for elk and make a move if we saw one, if there was time, or at least we gathered intel for a plan for the next day. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I wish we had a before and after picture of you from before the 3 months and after the 3 months. I would be curious to see it.
I was skin and bones. I actually rolled into my own hunt, and I could not. After I got out of the woods guiding, I went and met my parents in Colorado, and I could not, for the life of me, try to get up early. I don't know. I was so exhausted.
I'm sure. And your body is confused. It's like anti-hibernation almost.
Exactly. And like I had to take it easy on my hunt as much as I wanted to kill myself on it, but I just didn't have it in the tank. I was just exhausted, but it was a rewarding experience, and it was fun. So
nice. Yeah. Tell us how you first got into guiding. How do you make the trek into it? Or you just were like, what?
How did you?
So this is a long one. So it goes back even before the guiding subject. So all my life as a kid, I wanted to hunt, but was unable to because there was a war going on, and my father was in the military, so we were always moving and blah blah blah, and just never really got into it. And especially as a kid, you have a million other things going on in sports, priorities, in school, so it just really never clicked. And then I got to college and decided my freshman year that I was gonna make friends with people who hunted out here. And I did. I followed them around on their hunts and just learned and really decided if it was something I really wanted to do, which I did. So then I took my hunter safety course, got all of that. Got into the next year, went out in a spot. Really still didn't really know what the heck I was doing, and had a buddy go with me, and we woke up opening morning and walked around the woods for a few hours is how I would describe it. And about 11:55, we're sitting there, and I look up on a ridge, and there's an elk standing there on the ridge, and well, I shot him, and that was my first elk. I'm pretty sure that someone threw me a bone there, and it was pure luck. I wouldn't attribute to that my skills, but I had a buddy who knew I was going, so maybe he would say it was more towards his skills. But it was a good experience. And then the following year, I killed a bull on the same date day, and that was the first year my dad came out and hunted with me. And then fast forward, that roommate left college. He dropped out, and during that hunt where I killed my first bull, I told him, I was like, "Hey man, maybe you should get into guiding. I think you'd be good at it." And fast forward, he started guiding. I graduated college, started working in and out for my dad. Had a startup, started working in and out for him. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go to guide school. So I went to guide school. And
how long?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How long did guide school take?
I think it lasted maybe 2-3 months max, maybe more like 2 months. It might have been a couple of weeks. It was a while, but I went to guide school around Grand Mesa, and then from there, that guy hired me, and I guided for him for a hunt, and then came back here and waited a year, and then I started guiding for the guy who my buddy was guiding for up in Estes Park, and then
Estes Park.
Yeah, so Estes Park, around the park, there's Forest Service land, and you can hunt it outside of the national park. You just can't hunt in the national park, but you can hunt the Forest Service around it. So there's all this public land that actually borders the park. So
forgive my ignorance, where is the location of Estes Park? Where is that?
So that would be kind of like northeastish. I think I'd have to look at a map of Denver, kind of.
Oh, okay. So Colorado.
Yeah,
I like northeastish. I like that direction. If we could continue to use that type of direction moving forward.
Yeah, I look at the map and clarify, but it's somewhere north.
Yeah, that works for me.
So, and then from there, COVID kind of happened, and I had a year off. And then I was up in Idaho, where my dad and I had been hunting with the outfitter there, and became really good friends. And he hit me up on a bear hunt and was like, "I need a guide. I know you guide. Are you gonna do it?" I go, "Can I think about it?" He goes, "Well, if you don't tell me yes here, then it's probably going to be a no." So on the spot, I told him yes. And from there, I guided for him, and then went back the following year and guided for him again. And then fast forward transitional wise, ended up here at Guidesley. So
when did you stop guiding and then start at Guidesley?
I think my last season was 2023, and then I started with Guidesley in 2025, January. Nice. And I was also working too part-time for my father as well. So,
which was also a startup, correct?
Yes.
So. Okay. Wait, can we backtrack just a little bit and go back to college?
Yeah.
Where did you go to college again?
So I went to Western State Colorado University. Slang for wasted state.
Love it.
So there's
there's
a rumor floating around that some guy got his own rule in the school handbook for pulling some crazy hunting stuff out there.
That was me. So let's
hear it, Keaton. I don't know this one.
That's an interesting story, but basically what happened was it wasn't even hunting related. We were going fishing, and we came across a deer that had been injured in the road, and well, we called the sheriff, and he came out, issued us a roadkill permit, and we took the deer back and processed it on campus. And well, apparently the school didn't like that very much. And long story
Were
short,
you butchering it in the kitchen?
out in the parking lot, so in the back of a truck.
Wait, this is like so
Classic.
ironic because of
Yeah.
the recent news of the students at Cornell University who literally were butchering, and correct me if I'm wrong, Keaton, butchering a bear on
So
campus.
that's what got us talking about it. And Keaton's like, oh yeah, what about this? Wait, and finish your story, Keaton. Sorry, we cut you off.
That's essentially what happened. And long story short, the next year, I believe there was a clause in the handbook. So
The Keaton policy.
We got to get a picture of you with the handbook, just like pointing to it and smiling.
Yeah, essentially. But yeah, I mean, and all of that, it was a whole debacle. I'll put it like that. So that went on for a bit, but that's what happened. So
Love it.
yeah.
Okay, I have another random little, could be taboo question, but we'll see. So going back to the beginning, when we were talking about you going out guiding and everybody your customers not totally understanding what you do. It's rare to get a customer that knows everything that goes into guiding. I mean, even being out on a boat with some of our fishing guides, taking a step back and watching what they do on the boat, rigging you up, getting you set on a line. I have no clue what I'm doing with fishing. So to be able to catch fish repeatedly and feel good about myself and not have another thought in my mind is the craziest thing to me. Is there a piece of you that wishes they noticed a little bit more what all goes into it, even the prep work beforehand, just how you're packing things for weeks on end, all the research you're doing, the weather you're studying?
Yeah, for the most part, like clients, they get it. Like it's hunting, right? And same with fishing. It's fishing. It's not going to the grocery store, right? So there is an element of knowing your area and knowing where to look for the animals. And if you're not in spot A, we try spot B, and all it is days of just going to spots and checking numbers, and eventually something hits statistically, right? And the even harder part too is that I wish clients knew is like a lot of them are really great shooters, but I wish they would have, some of the guys that go out east, out west don't realize that there's a lot of cross canyon. So your average deer shot on the East Coast is probably gonna be like 100 yards around here in New York, right? Under 100. Out west, hunting elk or mule deer or anything big game out west, the further you can shoot your rifle and the more proficient you are with your system, increases your success rate, especially in those states where it's already stacked against you from terrain, number of animals, hunting pressure, all that. It's all stacked against you. And the fact that if you can go from taking your range to 100 yards to 400 yards, you've just upped your success rate because now you've improved your distance of shooting. And the further you can shoot, the further I believe your success rate goes up. There is still an element to hunting to that, but the further you can shoot at a responsible, ethical level, wherever you draw that ethic line, everyone is different, only helps people get the animals that they've paid for, or not paid for, but paid for the experience of hunting, to come home with that trophy to them. And I would say too, especially in if you go hunting with any outfit out west, or you're hunting yourself out west, if it's a general tag or an over-the-counter unit, like don't sit there and hold out for a big one, because a big one may not show they're there. Just hold out for a legal one, and especially being 20 miles in, any legal elk is a trophy, because it is not easy. It's a mental game, and it really does put a toll on hunter and guide. And And I'll just tell you what, if you go with the guide, I guarantee you they are working their tail off to get that animal for you. And it doesn't go that way sometimes. So
What has been the most mentally tumultuous and challenging trip that you've been on? Because there's sometimes you walk out of these ventures without anything in your hands.
yeah, for me, like I've gone on several elk hunts where I've never seen an elk the whole week. And that, especially for me, like that messes with me deeply because it's like, what am I doing wrong? But sometimes you're not doing anything wrong, you're just in the wrong place and you just got the spot wrong. And that's just the game. And what you do from that is you learn and adapt and try again. So
And remind your customers of how nature works, right?
yeah.
You're at her mercy.
Exactly. And
go ahead, Keith.
And out there too, like a lot of factors are, you got elevation. A lot of guys aren't used to elevation. In Idaho, it wasn't so bad, but the elevation terrain change is so much more drastic than Colorado that it's a lot steeper. It's a lot more physically demanding, I would say, in some aspects, not all. I mean, Colorado's got some steep places, and I've been on some physical hunts in Colorado, but it's just a mental game and toughness. I've seen people physically fit, want to throw in the towel mentally before they're exhausted physically, and you just got to keep grinding because eventually you'll get it. You'll get an opportunity, and if you don't, you're still gonna have a hell of a time because you're in a place that not many people get to access.
Also, you come quick with the one-liners to keep the people going. That always helps.
I try. So.
Yeah, speaking of the one-liners, give us a funny story or a funny one-liner, maybe even share one of them.
Wait, precursor question. Is this like asking a comedian to say something funny to ask a guy to give a one-liner?
I'd have to have some context. So continue, please, Carly. So
yeah, no, I just want to hear a funny story or like one of your one-liners that you've used on a trip, because I think that people need to know who are listening that Keaton has some pretty good one-liners even in the office, and the stories he tells in the office are to die for. So I'd love to get a little piece of, like let's share it with the people, what we get to experience every day.
Carly and I get the pleasure of like sandwiching Keaton, so we just get all the isms all the time. How lucky are we?
Yeah.
So I will tell a story. Okay.
All right.
So we were riding back one night and we were riding in this canyon back to camp. And I believe I even had some hunters from Buffalo with me. And
look at that.
It's kind of funny how that worked out. But we were riding back in the dark and it was me, my hunter, and we linked up with another guide and hunter on the trail going back to the same camp. And it was darker than dark. Like all you can see is headlamps and hooves just walking and bobbing around on the trail. Kind of like little minions. And all of a sudden, it's kind of, maybe it was a little foggy too, I'm trying to recall, but it was dark. It was dark. And on both sides of the canyons, the wolves lit up and they started howling back and forth. And I was like, ooh, that's spooky. And in my mind, I was like, man, I hope we see elk tomorrow because usually the elk here that they're pretty skittish. And so later that night, we go back to camp, we eat, we go to bed. I'm up in the guide tent and I wake up about 2 a.m. with a rather upset stomach. And I run to the camp outhouse and it's foggier than foggy, like so thick. I know where the outhouse is, but I couldn't even tell you where it was because it was so thick and foggy that I eventually just ran right into it in the fog, like just walked right into it. And I'm sitting there and the fog is so blinding and next thing you know, this wolf lights up within 100 yards of camp. And I was like, I've seen the gray. I'm going back to the tent. I know how this goes down. I am out of here. So,
no, thank you.
You're at
you
2
what you
a.m.
needed to get done at least?
I think for the most part, so or it
scared
was
him right out.
Done rather quickly after that. So
love it.
So how did you end up finding your way to Guidesley? I know that your dad's company was also in the 43 North competition. Is that kind of how you got connected?
I was honestly on LinkedIn one day, and I believe it was Carly, which I watched the podcast from the last week, and it was a very good podcast, I will say that. And I was like messaging Carly, and I was like, yeah, you gotta like make sure I get this or something like this. And then somehow I got a interview, I think, from Rachel or an email, and I even found Taylor Lord on LinkedIn and wrote her a message too, like, hey, you guys probably really want to hire me for this, like something like
Oh,
that as
you're
well.
good. Sneaky,
Yeah.
sneaky dog.
All you have to
And then-
do is actually see Keaton's name on LinkedIn because it has every single outdoor hunting emoji possible next to his name. I didn't even need to see or hear anymore. I was like, he's good.
I thought you were gonna say every single vowel you can think of. 'Cause you got like 6 vowels in your name.
I never even
Pretty
thought
close.
about
I
that
never
till
thought
now.
of it either. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Continue
So-
on. It
Vowels,
doesn't matter.
emojis, it's fine.
But yeah, and then well, now here we are. So
No, it
Do you
worked
think
out
there's
great.
anything that that helped you like with like transitioning to a startup where you kind of knew you'd be talking to folks that like you really jive with? So like right now you're talking to a lot of fishermen, right? Like it's the largest vertical at Guidesley, and you've clearly gone fishing before. Um, but what was it like to like marry the two, like a passion and then like your everyday job?
I would say like guiding and my experiences just in the hunting industry now and all that helped me really relate, whether even though it's fishing, if they're strictly fishing, like we're all guides out here. We all speak the same language. We all swear like
Yeah.
sailors. And I get it. And then I think that really helps me understand too, because I can really put myself in their shoes as well. And I believe that really honestly helps me because I was one, or maybe still am one at heart, but I get it and I feel it, and that really helps me with this job. So
When you carry yourself so well in those calls. I mean, we just expanded office spaces, so sometimes Keaton will take a call or two from inside the office, and I can kind of pop up an ear a little bit. And I feel like you really exemplify the partnership that it is with us and the guides. I mean, because our product is built for these guides to flourish. It was built because of them. It was built from them. They've given all of their feedback. The way that you work through things with them, it's not a big company spitting on the small guy just to get him on his way. You work through every single little thing for these guys, from writing their bios to helping them figure out how to reset their password. It's like the little and the big things. You're there every step of the way with a smile on your face.
I'm just trying to prevent iPhones from being smashed. That's really all it is, because I know when I get in Facebook and I can't log into my Facebook, it's getting thrown at a tree. So I get it. So
Amen to that.
yeah.
Love it. Any other stories, Keaton, that you want to share with us, or anything that you want to tell us before we start to wrap up?
I'll leave one with like kind of a wild thing. One morning I was riding out. There was 3 or 4 of us, and I believe we were going to put hay into a camp. And we're riding just this little hill. We ride up this little hill out of the trailhead, and then it kind of wraps to the left. I mean, it was like a left-hand turn. I can't remember what direction it is without looking at my map right now. And that's kind of like the point where we get off and walk them. And I'm looking out across the valley, and you can see the Seven Devils, and on the other side of Seven Devils is like Hell's Canyon in Oregon. And I see all these little red lights dancing around on this mountain, like ants. And I'm like, what is that? There's nothing over there. Like, I know there's nothing over there. So I took a video on my phone, and we were all like, that's weird. Like, can't explain it. And I showed it to a few people in town, and then the video footage got corrupted on my phone, and can no longer see it. And I believe what I saw was either orbs or UFOs. And still to this day, it kind of didn't sit right with me. It just freaked me out. And
Can
I
you
still don't know
explain
what I
where
saw.
on the map that is again? I kind of want to see where it is. You
It
said
was
Hell's
in-
Canyon and where?
It was like if you type in Rapid River.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I wonder, do a lot of guides believe in, like, I don't think this is the right word. What am I trying to say, you guys? Like superstitions or like UFO? That's not, like, do people believe in that? Like,
Do guys believe in aliens?
I'll tell you what, I'm very superstitious. I'm superstitious to, I have to wear or watch the certain movies in this order before hunting season in my rituals. And I've also, same place, same kind of area. I've seen, I think is a mirage, but I'm pretty sure I saw a ghost of past one time. And I was riding out and it was really hot and this is in broad daylight. And I was like, who the hell's riding in front of me with 15 horses going up that mountain? I was like, there must have been another guy that packed in and didn't think much of it. And I got to the trailhead because the trailhead where we were is also the other place where other guys would take. Anyway, it was public land, so anyone can park their trailer there and ride in and that type of thing. And that's usually where the other guys would stage, right by our kind of corrals. And there wasn't a trailer there. There wasn't someone unsaddling horses. It was the weirdest thing. And then I started thinking about what I had seen riding up the hill, and we pack on a Decker saddle, which is a little bit more modern compared to a sawbuck saddle. And I saw the sawbuck saddle because the Mannies were going over the top of the saddle, and they do this thing with like a diamond hitch, and they pack kind of in panniers. It's kind of an older way of packing. And I started to think in my head, like maybe I had seen something that was not there but there's a lot of lore and I don't know, I'm superstitious. I've had weird stuff happen. So
what day into the trip was that for you? Like how likely was it that it was a mirage and how likely?
That was like during the pack season. Like we weren't even doing hunts yet. Like
you're kidding.
Like, yeah.
Because I was going to be like, Keaton, please, if this is day 30, like you're just freaking losing it already.
No, it was the weirdest thing. I still to this day don't know what I saw. Like
I don't know if you've been like this since you were a kid, but you have some sort of a sixth sense. Like you always have a gut intuition whenever something's going on with somebody in the office, whenever something's going on outside of the office, there's always like, you can suss it out and you're always the first to speak up about it. Maybe that's what makes you a good guide. You just kind of know where all the elk are.
Or been abducted by aliens and I just don't know it. I don't know one or the other.
Love it. We'll go with that.
So, but who knows? But I always feel that my sixth sense is usually correct. If I have a feeling that things are about to go south, I'm usually right about it. So,
yeah, if I trust anybody in the room to lead us with their gut, it would be you.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to listen to it a lot more now because it tends to be right. So.
It's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do.
Keaton, I was going to say, I don't know if you even want us to mention it, but you're headed out on hunt in November, and I couldn't be more excited for you. Just the little that I do know about hunting and what you've shared about like pulling your tag number getting pulled, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been 12 years and you're finally going out on this hunt in November, like that's going to be epic.
Yeah, it took me like over 10 and it was insane. And honestly, I've hunted this area for a long time now and had some weird stuff happen there too. It's the Utes think it was cursed pretty much. I never really read into that until the weird things started happening, but I'm still going to hunt there. Oh, well, get over it.
Well, come back with some stories and some extra lore for us next time after the trip. We'll do a little check-in.
But yeah, I'm excited for the mule deer tag that area in Colorado. I'm going to keep it private for now until after I kill one. But
totally fair.
But it's kind of the mule deer area, and people listening to this podcast, if they know exactly where I'm talking about.
Love it.
But I'm excited for that. A third rifle tag, and as close as I can possibly get to the mule deer rut. And also, it's an over-the-counter season for elk My girlfriend is coming out, my family is coming out, and we're excited to hopefully get her an elk and see how it goes. She just got into hunting herself. She killed deer 2 years ago now, and she's real excited about that. And we've been working on her rifle, and she's ready. The only thing that was interesting for me is I had to learn to shoot left-handed because I'm a righty, and she's got a left-handed gun. So
Kidding.
a little bit
That's
of
a
a learning
cool
curve
skill
for
to
me
have.
to just make sure that we're getting the gun right and that type of thing. So
For sure.
That's
So
cool.
this will be her first elk.
yes, this hopefully. Well, we got to hunt first, but this will be her
Knock on
first
all the
elk hunt,
wood.
and hopefully she's got some good luck like I do, and we can get her a bull out there. So
Well, maybe when you guys come back, we'll have to have her on the podcast with us,
Oh,
so
I'd
you
love
both can
to.
tell us how it went.
I would love to have her on the podcast.
I think you should. She's a badass woman. Excuse my French there.
Love it.
When she was in college, she went to Africa and she was checking not lion, but she was checking camera traps in the dark in Africa, in lion country without a gun. You could not pay me to do it without a gun. So
Wow.
yeah,
Sarah's her name, right, Keaton?
yeah. So she's
You got,
All right,
you
Sarah.
got a tough one.
Buckle in,
she's
baby.
got some bigger cojones than I do. I'll put it like that. So
Yeah, well, I want to ask her to tell us some teaching stories. It's a little contrast to your hunting ones.
yeah, no, I bet she's got a few of those. I hear them every
I know
day.
she does.
So
Well, Keaton,
This is
it's
awesome.
been awesome. It always is with you. It's always a blast.
pleasure
For sure.
being on, and I'm excited for you guys and your podcast. You guys are doing great, and you guys supporter for me. So
Love it. Well, for those of you listening, thanks so much for taking the time, spending the last, we'll say, 40-ish minutes with us. Here you go. I got something for you. I want you to join the Guidesley community on Facebook. We've got over 140 members already. Fishing guides, hunting guides, outdoor rec lovers. If that's you, go to Facebook, join the Guidesley community.
It's awesome. It's a place for all people who love the outdoors to come and share their wins. It's just been our guides holding up fish so far. So if you have anything else to share, that would be pretty epic to get on there.
I agree.
Awesome.
You should join.